we have time to do. You know, I'm used to babbling on for 2 hours at a time. And so I'm trying to figure out, you know, what we can compress and make sure that we have time for a little bit of play every week. I do want to deal with one point, and this is on the syllabus, and this is this business of interference over two clubs. Now, when I first brought this topic up, Joanne's comment was, well, nobody interferes with two clubs. And my response is, well, maybe nobody you've played with and against, but you might be surprised, even in club games, how regularly people get involved even in a two-club, after a two-club opening. And a two-club opening shouldn't scare you off from the other side from getting into the opponent's auction when you have some distribution. Because remember, now when this two clubs is based on a big balanced hand, yeah, you're probably not going to have the hand to get in. When they have 22 or 23 or 24 balanced over there, you're probably not going to get involved. But remember how often that two club bid is based on distribution and a long suit. And so let's say this two club bid is, you know, has a long heart suit. And, you know, it may have the full values for a two club opener, or it may be, you know, 17 or 18 or 19 points. But if you're sitting over here and you've got spades, and especially if you're not vulnerable, why not get involved in the auction? I find that it pays. I will look for excuses to get involved in the opponent's two club auction because I find that they can't handle the interference. They're not prepared for this, and then they end up guessing. Now, sometimes they land in the right contract, even when they have a terrible auction and they're just guessing, but it's a good idea to have some methods. In particular, since your partner doesn't get to show controls, doesn't get to make a waiting bid or make a double negative, we need a way for the responder to try and convey, and of course we're talking about direct seat interference here, right? Because two clubs pass, you get to say something, you know, before, you know, even if it's the advancer seat that gets involved, at least you get one bid out there before the advancer gets involved. So this is geared towards specifically interference in that direct seat. So let's say we have an auction that starts two clubs, two spades. And by the way, that hand over there doesn't relate to this auction, so that's for the next point. So what is typically done here is that, and this is very standard expert treatment, is that we take the meanings of pass and double and we invert them. In other words, if responder passes, it actually shows values. And if responder doubles, it says, I'm broke, you may be on your own from here. Now, what constitutes a pass and what constitutes a double? Certainly any hand with an ace or a king should pass. And by the way, this is kind of weird because this does make the pass alertable. Both the pass and the double are alertable. And I know it's a bit easy to, you know, you figure, oh, partner passes, partner doesn't have anything. But this is a case where you actually have to alert the pass. And then if we instead get the double where responder says, hey, I'm broke, now the opener can do whatever opener wants to do. Maybe they do their normal thing and just bid, you know, if their suit was hearts, they just bid 3 hearts. And then you can decide, do you want to pass 3 hearts or do you want to give partner a raise? Or maybe the opener wants to bid 4 hearts on their own. Or maybe opener still wants to bid 2 no trump. If the opponents actually got involved over a balanced hand, like, yeah, I got a spade stopper, I've got a balanced 22, I still want to bid 2 no. So, you know, you can do your normal thing, but you have been warned that partner is weak. You also may just want to do your normal thing after a pass. However, pass opens up one other possibility, and that is for the opener to double. So let's say we see that auction. 2 clubs, 2 spades, pass, which shows something. You know, may only be a king or an ace, or you might even pass with a few queens. I don't think you promise a control, but But you say, hey, I have enough that I want us to be in game if you have a 2 club opener. So what is the double in that situation? That is 100% takeout.
Okay.
Yes. Now, what might be one of the situations where responder would pass, even if they don't have a whole lot? What if this person overcalled kind of a crummy 5 or 6 card spade suit? They thought they wanted to get cute and get involved, and your partner actually had good spades? Might we want to penalize 2 spades? Possibly. The partner has a 2 club opener and I have some trumps over here. This could be very ugly, right? So this opens up the possibility of a conversion by responder. But the double is intended as takeout. The double is intended as, maybe I only have a doubleton spade, but I can support all the other suits. Maybe you were planning to rebid 2-no, but well, what if you didn't like your spade holding a whole lot? Or maybe you actually had one of them, we looked at that awkward 4x1 hand. We said, well, this is a hard hand to bid, but we still have to open 2 clubs. Well, what if you were 4-4-4-1 with 23 points and your singleton was a spade? That would be a perfect takeout of spades, and it would certainly explain better the 2 spade overcall, right? One of your opponents has a whole bunch of them, probably. So this is actually takeout. Now it could be converted. Notice also that in this situation up here, partner could make the double saying I'm broke. Now you are probably going to bid something, but what if their overcall wasn't the best and you had good spades and a bunch of other stuff because you do have a 2 club opening? Would you consider passing and converting from the strong side? You could do that. And you might be more inclined to do that because if partner said, I don't have anything, your side might not be making a game, right? I mean, if you had good spades, you could make your normal bid. You could make it. If you're like, okay, well, I was going to bid 2-no. I've got spades double stopped.
This is interesting.
I could still bid 2-no. And then maybe partner can raise you to 3-no. Remember, this doesn't mean, this just suggests a pretty weak hand. Doesn't mean totally broke. And if this hand has a couple of queens or a queen and a couple of jacks, yeah, they would probably raise your 2-no to 3-no or something like that. And so, yeah, it might be a situation where, well, our side's vulnerable and they're interfering because they're not vulnerable, and maybe we don't get rich defending, and maybe we need to go ahead and bid our vulnerable game anyhow because we think it's going to make. But that's part of what this, and so that the name for this, if you want the fancy terminology, we call it double pass inversion. We're just interchanging their meanings, right? And passing with the better hand and doubling with the weaker hand. But notice that what that does is it allows you to get a penalty from either side by way of conversion. And of course, even if responder has a good hand, you are not required to pass. What if you want to be in game and you're sitting over here with 6 hearts to the king-queen? Well, I would suggest probably just making your normal bid, right? I mean, you say, okay, well, I could pass and show values, but then partner's not going to know about my good suit. It doesn't have to be a major. I mean, you could do this with a minor suit. And so look, if responder has a long suit, even without a real strong hand, I think usually the better bet is, rather than trying to sneak your way into a penalty, I would say, let's just ignore their interference. Let's make the bid that best describes my hand. And, in this kind of situation, you don't necessarily, I don't think this hand needs to be, it doesn't have to be, we talked about what a positive suit response to 2 clubs was. I don't think it has to be that good. It doesn't have to be 8 points. I mean, if I had king, queen, jack, 6 of hearts and nothing else in my hand, I would just bid 3 hearts. Because that's the best description of my hand, right? And you know, we may have a hard slam. And so I want to get my suit in there, right? And I would probably do the same for a minor. I'd say, yeah, I could pass and show values, but then the partner's going to have a hard time, you know, believing that I have a pretty decent 5 or 6 card suit. So most of the time, I think you're really just doing pretty much the natural thing.
So if I have long hearts but not honors, just pass or do a double? If I have, let's
Well,
say
you know what? Yeah, I mean,
a
I'd
3-point hand or something, but they're not in hearts. But I have 6 hearts.
I would probably double with that hand. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 points. That's not a king.
Right.
And like 6 hearts to the jack or something like that.
Right.
I don't think you want to get partner too excited, even if you have a 6 card suit. If your hand is that bad, because what you can always do is you can double first, and then whatever partner does, you can bid your long suit next, right? And that will say, hey, I've got this 6 card suit, but my hand's pretty weak, right? You can usually paint the picture of your hand. One more thing that I want to mention today, and this is outside the realm of 2 club bid, but connected to 2 clubs. Again, kind of tying it into that territory of you know, don't be too eager to stretch a hand that maybe you shouldn't. And I think probably what's getting shortchanged today is a little more discussion of jump shift auctions, since we don't have time to say too much today. But take a hand like this. Now you have a 21-point hand, and you know 21 real actual high card points. It's probably safe to call your 6 card club suit 6 winners if we're looking at it in terms of tricks, because you know, I mean, you could lose the jack on a bad split, but most days that's going to be 6 tricks for you. Plus you've got another ace, king, and ace. I mean, we're already looking at like a 9-trick hand, right? Now, a 9-trick hand where? If our game is in clubs, 9 tricks is not within the trick of game, right? Because we need 11 for 5 clubs. Now, 9 tricks would be good enough for 3-no, except are we sure, you know, we don't know about the viability of 3-no, right? Because we've got a singleton diamond here. This is a hand that you may be tempted to open 2 clubs because you really like the hand, and you've got a long suit, and you've got very good controls, lots of aces and kings. I think it is a big mistake to open this hand 2 clubs. And because how's the auction going to go, right? 2 clubs, say 2 diamonds. Well, what's your first bid? 3 clubs, your long suit. Now this already puts responder under a lot of pressure because they're having to say something at the 3 level. And what can end up happening here is that you might have a 4-4 spade fit, and it would get lost, right? What if your partner has 4 spades to the 9? Well, you still probably belong in 4 spades. If partner has 4 spades to the 9 and a little something, not much, you're going to want to be in 4 spades. But if you go 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 3 clubs, your partner, I hope, isn't going to bid 3 spades on 4 of them to the 9, right? And you may be able to get your spades in at the 3 level, and so you might still find your fit, but you know, but then what if your partner doesn't have a spade fit with you? And are they going to bid 3-no? You know, because maybe they have a diamond stopper, but they're worried about hearts. You know, you can see how like when you belong in 3-no, you could very easily get past 3-no. You could miss a spade fit. Lots of bad things that can happen. So I feel pretty strongly that this hand needs to be opened 1 club, as nice of a hand as it is. It's going to be very easy for you to get caught up with this hand, no matter what partner responds, right? Of course, you'd love to hear partner bid a spade, but let's say partner bids a heart. Well, now you can use your jump shift, right? Now you may be tempted to show your good 6-card club suit. But once partner squeaks out a response, you definitely want to be in game, right? Once partner shows you at least 6 points, presumably, you belong in game somewhere. right? Well, now we need to figure out which game we want to be in. So I think the way to go here is to jump shift into 2 spades. If need be, you can go back and bid your clubs again to suggest good long clubs. Partner will know that you probably have 4 spades because you didn't open the spade, so you don't have 5, but you have 4. And notice that you've set up your game force at a fairly low level, right? A partner has to say something over 2 spades. Well, if it turns out that they have spades with you, they can raise spades. If they don't, they can bid something else. Maybe they take you back to clubs. Maybe they bid no trump if they have a little something in hearts and diamonds. But we're in a game force, and so now we can continue to describe our hands below the game level, knowing that neither of us is allowed to stop until we have gotten the game.
That's great.
And you're just going to have so much of an easier time, showing this hand. Let's say partner were to bid 2 no trump. Well, it's safe to now bid 3 clubs, and now partner's probably going to get the idea that you're probably 6-4, and maybe you want to show the extra club length in case we have a club slam. Otherwise, you would probably, maybe you would just content yourself with 3 no. If your clubs weren't so good, right? But you're like, well, we're definitely going to game, so why not tell partner where I live? And so you get to start to paint a picture of your hand that you don't really have room to do if you open 2 clubs. Everybody reasonably comfortable with that?
What's that JS mean?
Oh, that was a jump shift. It was just to indicate a jump shift again. So sometimes you would jump shift, like you might even have a 6-card major, and so you would be inclined to rebid your major, like open a spade and then jump in spades. But if your hand is too good for it, you might want to jump shift first and then go back to your major later, and you can, same kind of thing, you can paint the picture that you have, because, and I had another example that I didn't get to, with an auction that started something like this. Like a spade, a forcing no trump, and 3 clubs, even after forcing no trump, is still a game forcing jump shift. And this hand that is bidding 3 clubs was 6-4 the other way, 6 spades and 4 clubs. And the hand was simply too good to just bid 3 spades. Which you would do with a lot of hands, with a 6-card spade suit that were good enough to jump. But the thing to keep in mind there is that when you jump rebid of a suit is not forcing, right? Jump shift is game forcing. So sometimes you want to set up your game force, and then, if you have 6 good spades, even if partner bids 3 no, you could still correct to 4 spades after that and say, no, I think we belong in a suit here. So, all right, I suppose we'd better get to hands. Does anybody have questions over anything that we've covered today?